Hi, me again, just Bob. Um, to, on the last video I made, I started to start talking about the waves, and I kind of got distracted, and it became a lot more than I was thinking it was going to be. But that thing about the waves is something I'm pondering all the time, and because everything that we are doing, our actions are creating waves. And when we have our focus on something, those waves are creating an energy that is actually creating that, whatever it is you're trying to do. It has you pick up, that energy will create the ability to pick up a hammer and pound a nail. Everything starts as a wave, and then you put an intention to your attention, and you decide what it is you want to do, and we create that action, and then we perform it. So I know this sounds really kind of bizarre, but that double slit experiment that they do, that creates that idea of entanglement, and that wave theory is all tied into that, because the entanglement is to do more with space-time than it is anything else. Because when I was listening to Feynman's lectures, he was talking about the speed of light. And actually, it's instantaneous. It's a constant. It's that wave. It's always there. It's always on. But until we decide to focus on something, pay attention to it, measure it, whatever it is we want to do, it converts it back into an object. And now you try to fit an object into what they call space-time, which is, everything has to occupy a space, and any movement, to have movement, you have to have time. It has to be divisible into the space. So when we look at the sun, and this is how Feynman described it, the light that we see, we say it takes 8 minutes to travel 93 million miles. And that makes it about 186 million miles per second. But it takes 8 minutes. The thing that Feynman was saying is that light is a constant. It's part of the electromagnetic field that engulfs the entire universe. And we take it down to that mechanical, physical type physics, and it's small. So the thought being that it's not the relativity of everything creates this illusion that light has speed, but it is not the speed of the light. It's the speed of us traveling relative to the light that gives the illusion of time passing. So he explained it in a really good way. He says, if you thought about 2 points like the sun and the earth, and you connect it with a slinky, the light is the slinky. It's always hooked up. And distance is irrelevant, because if from the perspective of the slinky, nothing is moving. It's just expanding. The distance maybe between the sun and the earth is moving one way or the other, but to the slinky, to the light, distance doesn't matter. When you flip the light switch on, the light's instantaneously on, but that distance is negligible to light at that, what we call the speed. But the copper wire doesn't have electricity going through it. It creates a polarity and a field around it, and it's actually on all the time. It's just not energized to do what we want it to do until you flip the switch. So now we take this back to spirituality and other things that in life, and it reinforces that fact that everything that happens is already there. We just need to flip the switch to illuminate it, become aware of it, and understand that it's not a thinking thing. It's always energy. It's always a wave that's just there. It's not moving. It's not doing anything else. Its intensity may rise and fall like the wind and the pushes the top of the wave, makes it look like it's moving. But that wave itself is just the water pressure building on both sides of it, pushing it and condensing it. So like light, if we were thinking of ourselves as going from the sun to the earth, but the distance between is relative to the world that we've created, we're living in. So that distance could be like 2 sheets of paper, and it wouldn't affect the light. It wouldn't make it any faster. It wouldn't make it any slower. If you pull the sheets of paper apart, the distance is irrelevant. The light is going to be on at both places. Everything starts in the middle and goes outward with time. It's relative to the center, or if you make it look relative to us, everything else appears to be moving away. The entire universe is nothing more than a torrid. I have all these tools. Hold on. This little toy I've played with for years explains a lot of things to me, because it is a toroidal toy. It's a continuous piece of wire that is wrapped into a loop. And I don't know the length. I haven't calculated out how long this thing is, but it probably is a good 12, 15 feet maybe long if you were to stretch it out. But then the ends are welded together. But it also goes in and out of itself. It's a slinky that has been wound to go within itself. So when it's left to its own energy, it wants to go back to the original shape that it was when it was manufactured. And that shape, since the ends are tied, it becomes a continuous piece of energy trying to expand. And the outcome is a toroidal shape that is holding within itself. It is a structure of how the energy flows. In a magnet, you've got basically this at both ends of a magnet. One end is going outward, one end's coming inward. So it is the magnetic field. But now, when it's created in certain ways, it becomes an electromagnetic field. It has an electric field within that is working in conjunction with the magnetic field. And when that field is activated, you flip the switch, as it were. You're now taking a particle and putting it within that field, and the field goes around it. So this ball being, let's say it's an atom, a part of an atom, a nucleus of some sort. So now once it's here and you energize that thing by whatever means of energy you're going to put in there, maybe it's going to become a hydrogen atom, I don't know. It activates this toroidal shape. Now, I contend that that also represents gravity. Because this space between here and here, when it was a loop, occupied space. And when it goes into this state, the field is created. Everything is at one side of that field is trying to pull itself through to the other side and straighten out. That creates an energy that is gravitational. It holds that ball right there. And I've done this thing with all kinds of different shapes. And to me, that represents gravity. But what does that gravity energy, how's that work? Because it's not just pulling in here on the outside. It's trying to get to the center of this from all sides. But it's blocked because of the physical. So now the distance between here and here is established because the energy field. But that area that was there is now pushed to the center. And if it was all fully collapsed, where did that go? It held space. It held a physical energy. That becomes the hyperbole of that collapsing dielectric field. That's between the two fields, the magnetic and electric, there's a dielectric field. That collapses, and that is what creates that draw to the center of this, because it is expanded now, and this whole thing is trying to pull everything back to get its space to reoccupy by going back to the original form. But the actual original form would be a straight line. String theory. Ah. Anyway, I've probably got you totally confused now, but just remember that this whole demonstration to me is what tells me that we create everything. It is energy. And in order to have a physical form, it has to be energetic. And that wave becomes a particle whenever we, the energy that creates it, concentrates it on being something we want. It will now become that very thing in the form of a particle. And then the particles gather together because of that electromagnetic field that I just showed. That is the physics, to me, of everything. And every time I hear something like listening to Feynman, all of this lays over it like a template. So I know there's a connection here, and that connection is that spirituality that says that we are basically on the outside looking in at all of this, because it's not out there, it's within us. We're creating it. This physical body is not us. Everything that's here is us, each of us, individually and collectively. And the whole entire universe is within us. We are the singularity in the life that we are experiencing. The rest of it is just the illusion we're creating. So now how do we control that? Can we control it? Is it already written and we're just passing through, experiencing the feelings of it? I think that's kind of the situation, but we have to take it back. It's within us. We are creating it, so we could change it. You can have a lucid dream and wake up, and the dream can go whichever way you now, in your consciousness, watching the dream, that lucid dream can be controlled. You can start dreaming about whatever it is you want to dream. I've done it, so I know that works. And it feels as real life until when you're already in the lucid dream. I've woken up. I'm sitting up in bed. It's playing out in my mind right in front of my face that seems so real that I am viewing it outside of my body, but I'm not. I'm viewing it within, and I can control all that. And then I project it out, and I can do things like paint a picture of that dream I had that started this all because of that one painting. And it's also the one painting that always sells. I always get people wanting it, and always when they see it and they buy it, because it has some kind of a feeling, and it takes you back to that creation, that creative thing that is within us. We're here to create, and we just have to figure out how to control it if we want to. I enjoy just sitting in the audience and watching the play unfold and getting to feel all this feeling. But I don't like to become so in depth in it that I can't distinguish myself any longer. And that's something that's only happened in the last 10 years. But that is life. And once you get your head in that same framework, everything starts falling in. Everything starts making sense. And there's no such thing in my life as a coincidence or an accident. I got hit by a car when I was 5. That was no accident. That was planned. It was going to happen at that time because I'd finished whatever it was I was supposed to do the first part. And it was all explained to me, but I wasn't allowed to understand it until I built the foundation and lived through enough of that life, this life, to be able to understand it like I am now. Otherwise, it would just be wasted energy. But that's what life is. We get all the turns and the bumps and the ups and downs, and all of that is just to give it a little spice. But when you understand that the life you created only ends when you wrote the ending, and it's already written. So live your life in every moment like it doesn't matter, because it doesn't. It doesn't end. It just changes the script a little bit. When you get to the point where you're done, the story's over, the lights come on in the theater, you get up, walk out, you can get to the lobby of that theater, but there's not, every door goes back into another theater, another movie, a different one. But yet you're the character in all of the parts. It's your movie, you made it. And the theater is full of your movies. And every time you go in, you can watch the same movie repeatedly and become whichever character you want to be in this version of it. Only by concentrating your attention on that character, you become it. That's my idea of what this is all about. But it's not. It's the time that I'm supposed to tell everybody else about it. That's why I'm sitting here. That's why I'm doing all this. I sit down in front of this camera every time. I got no clue what I'm going to start talking about. It just flows. So take it with what it is intended to, and that is to change the energy. We're at that time, in this place, in this life, to make a change. We are creating new from the old. And it's not a physical thing. It's an energetic thing. We all have to look at the same wave, but now focus on the same particle, and we can change it. So I guess that's about it for this time. I hope it gives some people some clarity. Somebody out there will. I would ask that you hit the like button, I guess, and subscribe, because I'm going to keep talking. Don't know what, but it might be fun. Have a good day. Bye.